Which type of birds are we going to see today?
The common ones which you could see around anybody's garden or house.
That will be fun. Have you taken along everything?
Yes, my camera and my binoculars. That's one thing I never forget when I'm out bird watching.
Which type of binoculars are you using? Do you use any special one, a particular type, or will any one suffice?
No, now I use this 8 by 30. You see the binoculars carefully?
What's
There are
this 8 by 30?
You see the figures clearly? 8 into 30.
Yeah.
That 8 stands for the magnification. How many times the subject is going to be magnified by the binoculars? That's what this numeral denotes. And the second figure 30, it's the diameter of this lens, the objective lens. So the larger the diameter, the brighter is going to be your picture. And higher this number, the higher is going to be your magnification. So your image is going to be bigger over there.
So if I have a binoculars with a higher magnification, I'll be able to view the birds better?
Not necessarily. What happens, even the magnification has its limitations. As the magnification increases, your field of view narrows down. That's the area you can see through the binoculars, and then finding your subject becomes a bit difficult. So, and even it magnifies your handshake. So your hands keep on shaking all the while. So I recommend 8 by 30 or 7 by 35 for the general bird watcher. Those 20 by 50, the cheap ones you get, they're not so useful.
Now I've got this one. What do you think about it?
Let's see, that's a 7 by 20. This is also a good one. This can be used by anyone in the family or students also.
Okay, let's see what we can spot today.
Yeah, let's see. Now we are here in the garden comfortably. Now you look at the lantana bush over there, can you see it?
Oh, yeah, the one with berries?
Yeah, the black ones, they're ripe
Yes.
berries. You keep an eye on that bush, and while we are sitting here, you'll be able to see many birds coming to feed on the berries. So we sit here and let the birds come and feed over there, and we'll get to see them very nicely.
Yes, it's a bulbul. It's there on that bush there.
Oh, I see. That's the red vented one. You see the red feathers under its tail?
Yes, I can see them.
So the vent is red, and that's how it gets its name, from the red vent. It's a red vented bulbul. Such names do help identification.
It's a very common bird. I've often seen it in gardens, verandas, even in second floor balconies. It also enters houses sometimes.
Yeah, it's a very bold bird. It not only enters houses and verandas, I've even found it nesting in well-used rooms and balconies, in the second floor or fourth floor also.
When is its nesting season?
The nesting season is from February to May, and it builds its nest close to the ground, a meter or so above the ground, and they're just quite exposed, not very well concealed.
If the nest is built at such a low height, isn't there any danger to them?
Of course, the cats, snakes and crows, they destroy a lot of nests of these bulbuls. But then now what they've learned to do is, some of them, they're building their nests in proximity with man, inside the houses and verandas and the rooms, and thus they're getting some protection from the predators also.
The chicks are born without feathers.
Yeah, they are naked and without feathers, and the parents, they keep on feeding them insects, mainly insects, sometimes berries also, but mostly insects, and they grow very rapidly and grow the feathers.
Right, so they mainly feed on insects.
Right, they do feed on fruits also. The bulbuls, they like to eat wild figs of peepal or banyan trees, and when you see a banyan tree in fruit, you'll be sure to find plenty of bulbuls on it, and they get partly camouflaged because of the brown color, like the branches, and the red color under the tail, like the fruits. And they even partial to these lantana berries. And there's one more thing, the function the birds perform, that's dispersal of seeds. You see them feeding on the berries over there?
Yes.
They eat the fruits and the berries, and the seeds get passed out through their droppings, and thus they spread. So the birds help in seed dispersal. Now this bulbul has helped spread the lantana. And the chicks, usually they are 3 to 4 in number. They lay pinkish white eggs with reddish spots on them. Both the male and the female incubate. The male and the female, they look alike also. And it's got a very good voice, melodious call.
The one on this bush is the red vented bulbul, and the one on that bush over there, that is the red whiskered variety.
Right. You see the bulbul carefully? Can you see the red feathers like whiskers on its cheek?
Yes, I can see them.
That's how it gets its name, the red whiskered bulbul. It's got a long pointed crest The chest is also white and it's got a more melodious voice than the red vented variety. You see it?
Yes, how is it that this is found in the same habitat?
No, usually this bulbul prefers area with more vegetation than the red vented variety. But these days in cities you find them alongside, the red vented and the red whiskered one also. This is also becoming quite bold, and this is also entering houses and bungalows and gardens freely.
So even this nests in houses?
Yeah, I found their nest on the balcony on the 4th floor in buildings, and one balcony was occupied by the red whisker and the other was occupied by the red vented.
One. They both have very familiar melodious calls. Do they have any other call?
Yes, while mating and displaying, they make other noises, and when they spot a predator like a cat or a mongoose or a snake, they resort to incessant chattering.
I really like their calls. They make the surroundings very lively.
Yeah, it's true.
Silva, nice bird to watch.
Yeah, you've seen this red whiskered carefully?
Yes, I've seen it.
Now we'll try changing places and we'll go some place and see if we can spot another bird.
All right. Do you see the small bird there on that bush?
Where? There in front?
Yes, it's moving about constantly. It's not ready to sit in one place.
Oh, that small one, grey one, smaller than a sparrow?
Yes, that one.
And that's an ashy wren warbler.
Oh, it's so small. It's constantly moving in the bushes.
Yeah, it's hopping around in search of insects. It feeds mostly on insects and it's moving around in search of insects over there.
The monsoon is its nesting season, I believe.
Yes, the nesting season is usually from May to September, but usually it starts building its nest only after the rains, when there are plenty of bushes and plenty of insects. And when there are plenty of bushes, there will be a lot of insects to feed its chicks, because the chicks are fed mostly on insects. And though this is smaller than a sparrow, it's very useful to man as a destroyer of insects.
How does this bird build its nest?
Its nest, it stitches together two leaves and then it lines them inside with fibers, and it's usually low to the ground, say less than a meter above the ground, and that's how it builds its nest, and usually concealed under the leaves and all.
But doesn't it have a danger of predators?
Of course, some nests do fall prey to the predators since they are low, but still they get along, because sometimes the nests are very well hidden and they can get along with that. And they lay 3 to 4 brick red eggs, and the incubation takes about 12 days, and both the parents, the male and the female, they take part in the incubation. Then the chicks hatch, and then you should see the fun. The parents are just busy feeding the chicks, with insects. When the parents used to come to feed the chicks, before I could spot the parent, the chicks somehow used to sense the parent coming, and they used to stick out their necks and beg for food. What used to happen, the parents used to come and sit on some branch, and then the bush used to vibrate slightly, and the chicks used to feel the vibration and immediately used to start begging for food. So even before I was aware, the chicks used to be aware. The parents never came directly to the nest. They used to alight on some other branch and then come, and the chicks used to sense them coming.
That's nice. Look at that bird. That's the one which everyone knows.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, almost everyone knows that bird, but they get its name wrong. It's not a parrot, it's a rose-ringed parakeet.
I've seen it in large numbers in cities also.
Yeah, you'll find it moving around in cities, in the wild, everywhere. You'll find it everywhere, even in big cities and towns. They'll be going around in big numbers, and they cause a lot of damage to fruit, the crop, and so many other things. They are a serious pest. Though they look attractive, they are very destructive to the crop and the fruit and the other things, and they waste a lot more than they eat. They are a serious pest.
I've seen these birds kept in cages as pets in many places. They're even used by fortune tellers to tell fortunes on the pavement. Is it legal to keep them in captivity this way?
No, no. It's totally against the law. The Wildlife Act prohibits keeping this bird in captivity. You can't cage it. And most of the people, they're violating law by doing that. It's a crime. And they're not only violating the law, but they're being very cruel also.
You mean cruel because the way they're caged and kept?
Yeah, what happens is they keep them in small tin cages. You seen the cage?
Yes, the small
And
ones.
there's hardly any place for the parakeet to move inside. It damages their feathers, and then they have to perch on a thin strip of a constant width. In the wild, what happens? They perch on different branches of different diameters, and their feet get exercised. Here, what happens? The thin strip is very sharp, and it's got a constant width, so it very soon has its feet very sore.
So sad. I wish people will understand and stop caging these birds. They must be breeding very well. I've seen them in large numbers.
Yeah, in the wild they breed in tree hollows, and in the cities they make nests in the cracks in walls, under the roofs, and holes in buildings and ancient forts and all. And they breed in quite a few numbers. And outside the breeding season, they gather on big trees in the evening for the night. They spend the night over there in the communal roost. In the morning they spread out in search of food, and evenings they gather over there and they spend the night over there on the communal roost.
When is this bird's breeding season?
And the breeding season is from February to April, and they lay 4 to 6 white eggs, and both share the parental duties, that's the incubation, feeding the chicks and all. And the male and the female both take part in it.
Look at that black and white bird there.
Magpie robin. The black and white, did you say?
Yes, that
That's a
one.
magpie robin. I just love to hear this bird sing, and I like to wake up in summer by its musical call. It sings so sweetly. You'll find it perching on top of some favorite perch, on some antenna or a tree or an exposed bush, and it'll keep on singing lustily from that place.
Does it just keep singing, or does its singing serve any purpose?
It doesn't sing just like that. Birds and animals, they just don't do things just like that. The singing serves two purposes. The first thing is it's announcing, you know, when it sings at the beginning of the mating season, the breeding season, and by singing it's announcing itself to the females in the area that this male is there and is available. So that's the first thing. And the second purpose it serves is it's a signal to the other males to keep out of its territory. The thing it does is, the beginning of the mating season, it stakes out a territory and guards it zealously from the other males of its kind. And why it does that, you know? So when it's nesting, it feeds the chicks only on insects. And to prevent overcrowding in a particular area or severe competition for food in the particular area, it keeps out the other males. So in that particular area, only he can have his nest. And that ensures the survival of the chicks. So there's no overcrowding, there's no severe competition for food, and there will be adequate food supply for the chicks, and they're sure to grow and survive. So that's how they do it in the wild, in the nature. Or go to any special place to watch birds. The bird watching can start right at home, close to a house, and once you are aware of birds, you can start noticing them and start enjoying the company of our feathered friends.
Thanks for such an exciting outing close from home, Milind. So friends, today we saw common birds, the common friends which we can see around our houses. Even if you look around, you can find these feathered friends of ours and enjoy and relax in their company and enrich our life and our knowledge by observing them. The next time we will be going to the riverside. Let's see what we can find there. Be sure to be there with us, with Milind and Rati for another exciting outing. Till then, bye.